Today is Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 46, Week 8.
This episode's titled Hide and Seek, and that was spoken by Q. What a mess. Okay, I got that out of the way.
You're jumping ahead.
Got that. That's my episode summary. Now, let's rewind a bit. Previously on Survivor, Tiff got an idol. Hunter got an idol. We got 2 teams of 6 and a double elimination. Got Tim going against the 6. Tim's out.
Tevin voted Venus as just an in-case vote.
Yeah, so that answered that big question, huh?
Mm-hmm. Which is smart so that you don't get caught. But
And Venus takes credit for it all. Soda is out. Tim's out. Soda's out. Coming back to the beach with what were they? They were the orange team first. NuiNui, still night 14 after that tribal council. Q is anxious to talk with Ben.
And before the other people get back.
Ben, Kenzie, Tiffany have other plans. They're just going to hash it out in the shelter and let Q sit on the beach.
Yeah, and Ben tells us he lost his best friend.
Of the gruesome twosome twins. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They had a name that didn't get shared till now.
Tim helped him feel sane in the game, that he was his rock. Lordy, he must have needed him this week.
Even more so, yeah. He's going to be missing him 10 times more.
Yeah.
Q's anxious. He needs to lock in a new member of the 6, he tells us. He is not up for this kiki yaya
the
fun.
yak.
Yeah,
They're
going
just
on.
yakking. He wants them to pay attention to what he wants to talk about.
He's got a plan. Yes.
We need to be taking care of business.
Well, so much for that. The purple team's back. Kenzie's anxious to see, oh my goodness, Venus returns.
Yeah, they were all really certain that they were going to vote Venus out.
She seemed like she was ready to give that speech. You had one job. And you blew it.
And Q tells us he's a game changer, and he's going to change this game.
Oh, okay.
All righty, Q.
There are different ways of accomplishing that goal. Yes.
The way Kenzie put it, she was like, they didn't get her.
Right. Again, they had one job. And Venus knew that Tevin had lied and he wrote her name.
Yep. She knew it was Tevin and Soda. I'm not sure exactly how, but she knew.
Venus was riding high on the hog. She was celebrating, taking credit for taking out Soda.
Yep.
It was her plan. She launched it and succeeded.
And Tevin decides, he'll let her have the accolades. He'll explain it at the final tribal council.
Perfect. That is exactly the way. That's textbook the way you want to play something like that. That was spot on. I really enjoyed several things that he was doing early on in the episode. And he tells us that he had vowed never to write Soda's name. Hence, another take on why he threw one Venus his way. And he's planning and scheming already. He's thinking, Venus, you're going to find out soon enough what's really going on.
But Tevin was so focused on Venus that he missed all the cues with Liz.
Yeah.
That every time he said something, she just was ready to kill his game. And he missed that.
That seemed like a little bit of misplaced credit on her part. You can be scheming from early on, but calling a shot for a vote is different.
Yeah.
You can have a target, and you never go to tribal council. Do you really get credit for that? I mean, do you deserve credit?
Well, in Liz's mind, yes.
If you're not actionable about the whole thing, which she does seem to. She demonstrates a good level of self-awareness here that we hadn't seen before. Because she makes that statement, it's hard for me with my giant ego to handle this,
I
to
did
not
like
say
that,
anything.
that she owned her ego.
And she said, I need to stop hesitating and take action. So I think deep down she knew that that it was Tevin who called that shot. It wasn't her. And he looped her back in when he had more, well, at least from what we got to see.
Yeah.
It wasn't her calling the shot at all from what we got in the edit.
Well, the thing is that I think what sticks in her craw is that she's the one that fingered Soda
She
as
identified
someone
her as a
that
threat.
needs to go
Yeah.
early on and told both of them and has stuck with that all along. But where she went wrong is, like you said, but you didn't finger her this vote.
You didn't take
Tevin
action.
did.
Right.
You didn't take any action except
To go along.
To go along.
When someone handed it
Yes.
to you on a
So
silver platter.
I have to agree with Tevin. You know, he orchestrated it.
Yes, at least from what we got to see. We know the edit can tell any story the edit wants to tell.
That is true.
But just going on what we were spoon-fed.
They couldn't have done it without, Maria and Charlie joining in.
And they showed us it was Tevin working with them.
Well, they could have, but they probably wouldn't have.
They didn't show any big significant work by Liz's part, as I recall.
Yes,
with
no.
those two.
So I think, I think she was off on that.
Okay, day 15, we get a 2-day cycle. If you discount the little bit after tribal council with night 14, but it's the basic 2-day cycle, day 15 and 16. And on this day, we're told that Q's being a little quiet. Or he had been quiet when he was hungry.
When he was hungry.
He's
yeah,
not
when he
quiet
was,
now. Yes,
or,
that's
or
the
not,
contrast.
Not necessarily when he was hungry, but when he was eating.
He's got an idea that he just pitched to the world, the Q skirt. What'd you think? Would you buy a Q skirt?
Of course not.
Hunter wasn't up for it either. He was giving
Tevin
some
was.
shake my head action. Well, Tevin said he wanted. Well, at first, Tevin egged him on, and then he said, basically, just because of the spirit that he put into it.
And his conviction about it.
Yeah.
So said it wouldn't be worth anything, but he'd like to have one anyway.
Sure.
And because it would make him stand out.
Yeah.
So.
Charlie has totally got dialed in on the whole Q thing. He said he's about staying on his good side. And he's recognized that Q is putting some serious planning in for the long game.
Well, and this is a really good observation of Charlie's, is that the major conversations happen early in the morning, and he should be up and involved in those.
Right. He's picked up on that. You get the sense that he didn't have it figured out previously.
Yep. When other people are sleeping, that's when they like to discuss.
Cut to Charlie, Q, and Hunter talking down on the beach at sunrise, and Charlie recognizes this is another great moment for Charlie, right? There's some Charlie celebration moments on this day where he says, it dawned on me I was being interviewed to become a part of this 6-person alliance.
And we find out that Maria had not told Charlie about the 6.
No, Q tells him Maria will approach you about being a part of this. Now that looked like a boss right there. That kind of thing. This is what's going to happen. This person's going to come to you, and we want you to be a part of this.
And Maria tells him, I've been putting your name out there. I've been putting it out there.
So it fit.
I've been working on
Those
it.
puzzle pieces clicked right together the way we were shown. I got your back, she tells him.
However, Charlie wasn't nearly as excited as they were about it. He's like, well, he could see how that could be good for Maria, but I could end up with a whole group of people I can't beat.
Good observation.
How is that good
I liked his
for me?
tagline for the alliance, too, the Shaky 6.
Oh,
That was prophetic on his part. Little did he know.
That's right. There was about to be an earthquake. Okay, still on day 15. Q wants to play hide and seek. Now,
Well, just before that, they did cut back to Q talking to Tevin and Hunter and saying, we're going to have to watch Charlie. So they gave him an opportunity, and then they said, we're going to have to keep a good eye on him because I don't think he's got a killer instinct. And this is what should have been the title of this episode. They cut back to Charlie after that little powwow, and he says, am I what goes awry? That would have been, the hide and seek thing was fun, but that line was epic by him.
yeah,
That was really cool.
I agree.
Maybe they didn't for a reason, but that just screamed out episode title to me.
I want to know when Q figured out this whole reading the people by the way they played hide and seek.
Well, we did get that extra clip of him from the day prior. It was like some day 14 conversation that he had that was an extra clip last week, which was Q going through and laying out what he had observed about each castaway and how they were playing the game. So he's had that in his head, and then this just seemed like the natural follow-on to that. I can learn more about them by potentially watching how they play hide and seek. There are no absolutes here. You might get someone that just goes, "This is stupid," and approaches it that way. But it was interesting to see.
Well, what was even more interesting was that Venus was doing it too.
Yeah, that was a nice contrast, wasn't it? That she saw the value in it too,
and
she
was
became
picking up a lot of information about the others.
The co-narrator
it's
this segment.
Okay, well, awesome.
It seemed to amuse Tiff a little bit, maybe annoy her. She said, "These grown adults, and we're out here playing hide and seek. Oh well."
Okay, and Charlie's it.
Yep, turns out he's got to find him, and he found Liz pretty quickly, and Venus, and then got Tevin too.
And then you got Tiffany and...
actually, Venus got Tiffany.
Yeah, Venus got Tiffany, and
her
Q got Liz.
Assessment on Tiffany was she just wasn't paying much attention. She was out here trying to hide with that red buff still on her head.
Yeah.
Which is a great contrast to what they kept showing Ben doing.
Yeah. I mean, Liz found Q.
Right.
And...
so that told Q that Liz wants to win.
Really wants to win.
She had to work to find me.
And that she wasn't there just to be there. Because that's what she kept. Oh, she didn't need the money, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nuh-uh. She wants to win.
Yeah. Venus finds Kenzie. She was hiding off in the tall grass. Q finds Maria and realizes, whoa, she's basically putting a ghillie suit together. She's got grass stuffed in her hair to break up her line and making sure not to look at them so she's harder to see, not giving it away with the features of her face. So that was interesting.
I thought it was interesting, too, that Tevin said, if I was Hunter, I would get in a tree. It's like, that's where he is.
He's probably seen him do it before, too.
Okay, but the time runs out, and they have found neither Hunter or Ben.
Ben went camo. He just pulled that camo shirt up over himself and disappeared.
I thought it stood out more than... Well, I don't know why they didn't notice it.
Yeah.
It didn't look like grass.
It seemed to work for him.
I guess so.
It broke up his features enough that that just, kept him from being found so quickly, I think. The camo helps with that. It doesn't have person features when it's laying there so that your brain picks up on that.
Well, who would have thought that was such a mistake on his part? Because Q's like, whoa, Ben needs to go.
Serious.
Didn't find him at all.
Too capable.
Yeah.
I don't know that hide and seek skills are really the corollary for success in Survivor, but Q's got his own ideas about things. So
yeah, but at that point I was thinking, okay, but you didn't find Hunter either, so does it make a difference because he's in your alliance? And then he's like, no, Hunter's got to go too.
Way, way dangerous.
If he's willing to hide that high up in a tree,
take that
he'll
risk.
Come after me. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know exactly how that
It doesn't translate. Yeah. No.
It didn't for me.
It's not. I don't think it's that linear for sure. Yeah. But what was really cool was that it was above the shelter, right? Wasn't it Charlie who looks up at one point and goes,
oh, was it?
Hunter's up there. He was above them in the shelter the whole time. Yeah, he had disappeared. And that's what hide and seek showed, Q tells us. Well, it was clever. It was interesting.
Okay, then Venus gets Tevin off and said, okay, it's time to do a debrief of tribal council. It's like, all right.
Yes. Yep, there were hot feelings. They need to air it out.
And she tells us why she wanted to target Soda was that Soda told her that morning that she wouldn't work with her for long term. Mm-hmm. Why would she tell her that?
There's a significant portion of the castaways in the 40s that have no competency in the scope of the game. They understand kind of the framings of what Survivor is, but they don't play in an intelligent way, in my opinion. We saw a whole tribe's worth of people last season, more, that were completely incompetent in the game. So sometimes you win because your competition is so awful, they hand you the game.
So what did you think of Tevin's answer when Venus asked him what his plan was for the game?
Moment to moment, not going to give anything up to her, so she offered some Q-like counseling.
He didn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we need you to show more commitment, Tevin.
So, of course, Tevin runs over and tells Liz, and Venus thinks she's...
Just before we go to that, because that is certainly worth mentioning, but I loved how he handled her. It was like a cat playing with a mouse. He just completely was toying with her that whole time.
He was, but do you think she was oblivious to that completely?
Yes, 100% oblivious. Yes, I was so looking forward to how this was going to culminate down the road. At this point, I thought, that's great. You're managing yourself. You're managing your emotions. You're just letting her run and talk. And
but then he turns around and does a Venus with Liz.
Well, he thinks Liz is a confidant. He doesn't know that Liz is holding major resentment about the soda vote.
Exactly. He's clueless about it.
Oblivious again?
Yes.
Okay.
Just the way Venus is around him. He turns right around and does the same thing, in my opinion.
Liz just wants them both to shut up, she tells us.
Yep. And even said she thinks she pulled off the blind side that I planned, which just really set Liz off again.
Yeah. And
And she determines to send a message to the others. I'm here to play. Tevin has got to go.
So she decides to target him just out of pure emotions. There's no logic going on here at all.
Doesn't matter.
A completely
she can't take
vote.
any more. Get rid of him. Get him out. It's time to play.
Yep. So
she's going to start with Tevin.
Even though she called it, understood it, her ego ends up getting the best of her.
Well, she admitted.
She did,
She
which she should have given her the opportunity to course correct, but no, she doubled down on it. We cut to briefly Ben sitting with several of them out in the water, and he's like, just want to hit pause. These people around him have not hit pause.
No.
You can tell Ben is playing a completely different game.
It's like, I don't move this fast in the world.
Everyone else. Yeah. So Grandpa Ben, he's... Uncle Joe, he's trying to go a little slow.
Yeah. Then we flip over to Tiffany telling Tevin, Venus isn't dangerous. We can keep her for now. And Tevin did not want to hear that.
Nuisance versus a threat.
Exactly. I happen to agree with her other than, she can be annoying. That would be the main factor.
She has no social capital. As long as you can not hand her social capital so that she has agency in the context of the game.
Absolutely no one wants to work with her. So then she just becomes somebody, a fly.
Yeah, and Liz and Tevin and eventually Q are just making classic survivor strategy mistakes. They're going out of their way, working super hard to find a target before you know who's available to be a target.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know why Tevin felt a need to run over to Q and Maria and tell them what Tiffany said.
And Charlie, yeah.
And I don't understand... as much as Q was angry at Tim and anybody who dared to target his alliance, he turns right around and goes, oh, Tiffany's got to go.
Right. It's windsock Q, hard at work.
Yeah. Not in with my plan. Nope, that's it. Everybody vote Tiffany. Now, she's part of the 6.
Right. She's his plus 1.
Yeah, his.
You don't get any closer to that.
So it's like, it's Q's game or just go home.
He has some contempt for Tiffany's approach because he says he's not wanting to take goats.
Oh, please.
And he's equating Tiffany's willingness to not target Venus as someone saying they want to take a goat to the end, I think. Which I didn't hear her say it that way. She just said this isn't the thing that this isn't the threat that you need to be worrying about.
Well, number one, he didn't go to his number one and ask right away. I mean, he's taking Tevin's word for everything. I mean, the interpretation of it, everything, already setting a blindsided motion of his number one, supposedly. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought, man, you're all over the place.
We see Tiffany go to Q, and when they start talking about who's it going to be, it's Maria or Ben, potentially. And then Q takes that to Maria and says, Tiff's targeting you. Oh, and by the way, Tiff has an idol.
I know. I thought,
wow,
man, you're just bombing your game.
Yes.
Definitely you're bombing hers too, but I think he's bombing his own.
What a mess.
And then, of course, Maria tells Charlie, and, oh, yeah, Tiff's got to go. Everybody jumps on board. Yeah. I would be so concerned about being in alliance with him when his main targets are his final six. But if anyone else dares to say any of their names, then, they got to go too.
Yeah.
I don't understand the logic. Well, I understand it from his point of view, but I wouldn't want to work with him.
He tells us he is a mob boss. You say,
no, he wishes.
Say a name in my alliance and you go.
Yeah.
So he's all set to blindside Tiff. Okay, immunity challenge day 6. It's the classic hold on to the big telephone pole. And it's time, Probst tells us, for them to have an opportunity to negotiate for some rice. They simply need to provide 4 players. Or he offers another twist. That was interesting. 2 of you can give up your vote, but you'll also get to compete. You'll still get to compete. So you could potentially give up your vote. Just 2 of you could give up your vote, and you might still be able to win yourself immunity.
Yep, and everybody but Liz and Q said, nah.
Well, Charlie was in, kind of, but yeah, eventually it does. Charlie tells Probst, look, we were playing hide and seek for nothing. We're totally about participating in this challenge. Venus declares that she can win, so she's definitely not going to volunteer to sit out.
But she was wrong. Liz did too, but wrong.
Probst gives a countdown, and countdown from 10, and he gets to the end, and nobody's there. They don't have it either way. So no deal, no rice. So you're on your own from here. And when they did this challenge last season, they let them start from different heights. And Probst had said in the On Fire podcast last season that no, they're going to have them all start at the top. And you could immediately move down if you wanted to, but everybody's got to start at the same height. So they were all up there together this time.
Well, and the challenge starts, and Q, Liz, and Kenzie are out almost immediately.
1, 2, 3, yeah. And then Ben and Maria were not too long after. I think, like you said, it was within 2 minutes, the 5 of them were out.
And then Tevin starts acting like, oh, no, he can stay up there all day. Yeah. He's going to beat Ozzy's record, da-da-da-da.
If you could be any bird, what bird would you be? He declares
peacock, of course.
Peacock, yes.
And then his feet slips.
I liked what Probst did. He told him about Ozzy going 2 hours and then said that they were several minutes in. Some more Jelinski references. Mm-hmm. That was fun.
All right, then Tiff drops, Tevin drops, and they were 15 minutes in. Mm-hmm. And they...
So showdown between Charlie, Hunter, and Venus. Venus looked like a shoo-in to win. She was doing that same kind of thing that Dee did last season with that butt
she looked
drop.
Comfortable, but
yeah, and the guys looked like they were struggling.
Yeah, I thought for sure she was going to win it then until she slipped and tried to recover.
I thought for sure that we were going to get this long soliloquy on birds. It kind of seemed like we were from Tevin. And then I thought, oh no, Charlie's going to give us another Taylor Swift deal where he names songs for an hour or something like that, but that didn't pan out either. We got slow-mo faces, Charlie and Hunter making faces at each other and just in general after Venus was out.
I did like Charlie once he dropped way down trying to negotiate with Jeff for 2 bags of rice. It's like, dude, you're inches off the ground. You're about to go.
Yeah, that
Jeff's
was good.
Not going to bargain for anything. But it was funny.
Yeah.
And I like that he did that.
What did you think about Hunter's demonstration?
I do not think he should have. That was kind of a show off, and it's going to target him more.
It was so
it's like
unnecessary.
You're showing us up.
Really?
Now, you're rubbing our face in it now.
Yeah, you're like, this is just a little little bit of where I could have gone
And the strength in his abs
to do
to
that.
pull himself
my
up
goodness.
from that that takes a lot.
Yeah.
Not many people can do that unless their abs are very well conditioned. Certainly I would have never gotten up. So, but I thought, no, that's a mistake. Don't do that.
Yeah, that was a bit much. He tells us that he surprised everybody played, but as far as he's concerned, they're still targeting Tiffany the way Q had decided. No need to change, which meant what?
Yeah.
We're going to change.
He's planning to vote Tiffany, and he don't see why anyone would change. And I
Right.
went, oh, geez, that does not bode well.
Okay, back at camp. NuiNui there, day 16. Great job, Hunter. Q is frustrated that they gave up that rice, so he has a little fit
Well,
down on the beach.
he wasn't just a little frustrated, according to him. He was full on mad about it
Yep, he's on the warpath. Tiffany's definitely got to go.
because they're all supposed to fall in line when he says something.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode was very frustrating for him. Nobody stayed in line when he put them in line. So, and then Q tells Tevin, ask him if Liz will vote with us for Tiffany, and he's like, sure she will.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, wrong again. So then we see Liz talking to the Sega 3. She went to them, their numbers,
Yep.
and she said, I want Tevin out.
I loved Ben's reply. He asked her a question. Is Heath the most logical target? Really? Of course, Liz answers yes, but you could tell Ben didn't. He wasn't on for that. Liz tells us she's got to take the lead, and she goes to Venus and gets
Venus
her
is
on board.
Yeah.
Tevin.
Yeah, let's get him out.
And we see Ben talking to Kenzie. This was good. They set up what he called the Chill Alliance.
And she agrees. Yeah, okay, Tevin, no problem.
Yeah.
Because she's also conscious she doesn't want the NuiNui 3 being seen as continuing to call all the votes.
Yep.
So that was an opportunity for them to let somebody else call the vote and they go along.
Yeah, I like that. There was that,
Yeah.
and then the other part where we see Kenzie, Liz, and Tiffany talking, and of course they're talking about targeting Tevin, and then they bring up the fact that he's got that extra vote, so it'll be it'll be more valuable to get rid
of him and the extra vote.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come back to bite him. Though Tiffany, that was actually one of my favorite parts, I think, is Tiffany deciding she needs to tell Q. Mm-hmm. And the look on his face and how put out he was that, what do you mean?
Nobody's doing what I said.
Everybody was with me.
Tiffany
What happened?
tells him that Liz called it the shot on Tevin, and tells Q, you need to get on board, vote Tevin.
And he's like, I'm not the driver in this vote. It's like, yeah, you're not. You're right.
He goes to Liz to see if he can figure it out. Really? Is it on Tevin? And she said yes.
Yep. And then he tells Hunter.
Right? They flipped.
Now,
They're going after
if he
Tevin.
really didn't want to get his cover blown for telling Hunter, you shouldn't have told him.
Right.
Because he should know
But he
Hunter
didn't-
would get very emotional about them targeting his.
+1.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, oh no.
I don't know that he had a lot of choice, though, because he realized that he had lost control.
But again, he wasn't able to control Hunter.
Hunter
and
still wanted Tiffany going.
That's right. And he was
So-
going to go talk about it regardless of what Q wanted. So it was up. Q told him. And they all knew it.
What did you think about Liz and them shunting Venus off from that discussion?
I don't think it's good to that openly burn a bridge because you just don't know when you might need someone.
But they're on a time crunch, though.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
only so much time you can talk, and if she sits there with you the whole time.
Yeah, I know that it's a dilemma, but, I would hate it if I had to
Liz had no
completely
qualms.
Yeah. She's like, well, wrap it up, okay? The
Yeah,
next
that's all
few
Venus.
minutes. Just wrap it up in the
That's
next
all
few
Venus had. Yeah, she made like she was going to play big and go over there and sit in on it all, but she didn't. She acquiesced and came back.
Yep. Well, Hunter wants Tiffany out, and Liz told everyone that asked, no, I'm voting Tevin.
Yeah.
Whatever anybody else votes, I am voting Tevin.
And
that is not going to change.
Hunter told us, as far as he's concerned, he's still voting Tiffany.
Yep, and yet he didn't. Okay, and then Maria now tells Charlie that Tiffany has an idol as they're deciding what they're going to do ultimately. And Charlie's like, well, it's easy for me. Tiff's after my number one.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying Maria's name. Not much to decide in my book there. But somewhere along the way, something must have...
It definitely changed, yeah.
Yeah. It's those times that they don't show us and they don't fully explain that, drives me a little nuts. Because I want to know, okay, how did they get from there to tribal council and Q's announcement?
Yeah. I almost wish they would spend some of the time like on a rewind.
On a flashback.
Yeah, so that you could roll it back and see after it's done. Now, show us how we got there.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I think that would be a great use of time.
Or even in an extra clip.
Yeah.
That anything, just tell us at some point. Come on.
But they try to guard their overall objective for the edit still, I think.
And of course, Jeff wants to talk about the rice negotiation.
So we're at Tribal Council there on night 16.
Stir that pot up a little bit and rile up Q and Liz again.
Yeah, he came out and said he had a temper tantrum. That's how he described it.
And let Soda know what went on.
Five people dropped in 2 minutes. He said we could have had rice for the rest of the days we were out there.
Yep.
And we get a little testimonial from Liz talking about, look, there's not a lot I can eat. Liz even threw in a special treat for Jen. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We can pass on that one.
Okay. Well, we're basically at it. This mess that Q started.
I just don't understand it either. And everyone seemed so confused.
He's bent on unwinding any ability he seems to have demonstrated in the game. I wanted to give him credit for all these things, and then he does stuff like this. This noble quit thing is just like infuriating to watch because deep down it's some kind of a lie.
Yeah, it feels very attention seeking, and is he going to turn around next episode and say, "Oh, I didn't really mean it.
Right.
I was just blah 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 blah. I was doing it for this reason
to get this information."
I'm thinking, oh, you've done this before.
Don't believe you. Well, I was willing to believe the other one because it had a quick, clear explanation.
And do you now?
This doesn't jive at all. This is a mess. This is like a whole new level of incompetency. It's like you knew better and you still shot yourself in the foot. His game's over at this point.
And here's the thing. Nobody's going home but me, Jeff. I'm going to tell them all to vote for me. It's like, and if that doesn't suit their game, you can't make them vote for you.
No, you can quit. But
yeah, you can quit.
You can't.
But if you won't vote it out, then
I like that
that's up to them.
Tevin jumped out on it quick and said, well, everybody did, but Tevin said, the math isn't mathing. This is off-brand. This doesn't make sense. Tiffany was confused. Yeah. And he tries to say, it's not me giving up. I'm taking responsibility for a mistake I made. Well, it can be both.
I'm not certain what mistake he was really referring to.
You know what I thought, right?
Was it throwing Tiffany under the bus? Or?
Yeah, I thought Q fumbles. That's my title for this episode. Yeah. This is him fumbling in the big game.
Still fumbling.
Yes. Quintavious fumbles Burdette. Yes.
Okay. Ben popped up and said, look, Q's playing hard. This is bonkers.
Well, Jeff walked her to it, but I did like Kenzie's response, too, in saying, this is undoing my plans. How do you presume that you doing this has no impact on some aspect of the game that I've planned in the future?
Yeah, and Tiffany's like, this is out of left field, and I'm sure she and Kenzie are like, he's done this before.
Yeah.
We thought he was over this kind of thing, so. And
what did you think when Kevin said, well, let's let the grown man make his own decision, and just before they went completely live in the tribal? I think
that might have been okay if he hadn't said that he wasn't going to coddle him to stay.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that would go over well with Q. So, but I was still trying to understand Q saying something doesn't sit right with me. Someone's going to get voted out because of something I've done.
Mistake I've made.
And I'm just going to take myself out and give you all a fresh start. Well, but he had to mean Tiffany.
Right.
But when did he have this change of heart? You targeted her from the minute that they got back, and Tevin came over and said, Tiffany said, so why it was all set to go, then he was upset because people weren't going to vote her out. So I don't get it. I still don't get it.
Yeah,
why
it's going to go down as one of the greatest losing plays in the history of the game.
Yeah, it just makes him look that bad. And at that point, it's like, yeah, I don't care. You want to go home, go home. Stop this nonsense. But, of course, and I kind of thought maybe it was Maria that turned him around and said, look, you don't need to take this on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought she might have been able to get through to him more.
You don't think it was Liz's sheer determination? Because she just kept walking
But
around
that
saying,
might be a part
I'm
of
voting
it.
Tevin. I'm voting Tevin.
Yeah, I'm not changing. I'm
It's
voting
like,
Tevin. I don't
okay,
care.
well, here's a
But
clear decision in the midst of this chaos.
What did she mean about it's respect? It's respect.
I don't know.
Was she wanting respect? Wasn't sure exactly what was going on in that exchange, because there was a lot going on right then. And
Probst tells us it's one of the craziest tribals ever.
but I thought Tevin using that word, using the I'm certainly not going to coddle them to stay.
Uh-huh.
That might have not sat quite as well. That he might have said,
Maybe.
"Oh well,
I love the
I don't care if he goes home."
I love the reactions when people were voting. I'm glad they showed more of those, from Charlie breaking the fourth wall to the different things people said. Those were all good.
Yeah, and their facial reactions when Q was trying to explain that.
Okay, no advantage or idols are played. I'm surprised Tiffany didn't do anything. They clearly didn't show it get cleaned up so that she would have what we would think she would have, was confidence to not play it. Because she gets clued in that, yeah, they were coming for her.
Yes. Yeah. And not only that, Charlie tells her about Q told him and Maria that she has an idol.
Yeah, and then she quickly shares that with
Kenzie. Get over here.
Yeah.
Q did this to us. So I was kind of surprised that they didn't lose their head. They didn't vote for him this time.
Right.
I don't know what that'll hold for the future. I'd say not so good. But they held on to, okay, let's all get a central vote here and move forward, get past this vote, then we'll hash it out back at camp. But I was like, whoa, a lot got revealed. I'm not sure why Charlie did that at that moment, but
I was disappointed that it didn't appear that Hunter was more involved. He seemed to be sitting out a big portion of the live tribal.
yeah, it was almost like he had no control, and it was kind of a pout thing that, well, I can't do anything about it. But he didn't tell Tevin. I would have thought he would have told him if he was that upset about it.
He may not have known he was that inactive, that, about it flipping back around that way. So
Maybe he thought he
'Cause
convinced everybody to go.
Hunter and Tevin were the ones that end up voting, throwing those two at Venus, which was great. I love that she caught some more.
Yeah, let's just do Venus.
Yeah.
I thought, yes, do Venus. That's who I have.
You're right. But no,
But-
Tevin catches 6 and he is out. Y'all can go eat slugs and worms, he tells him. And this does not rock.
Yep.
What did you think overall? Do you think that's one of the craziest tribals ever?
I don't know about that.
It
was-
didn't seem to have that stature. It was just like, wow, that is so unexpectedly stupid.
Yeah, it just felt really stupid.
Yeah.
And
Like the
really,
special kind of stupid that hurts you and others.
And like I said, attention seeking.
Yeah. Look, Mom, I got him the rice.
It's like, I didn't enjoy it.
If he
It was
had asked for
more
rice.
like a tempy tantrum.
Yeah. It's,
So,
wow.
what really surprised me was that Tiffany didn't play her idol.
Could you? Yeah, totally. Can you foresee working with him at all after this?
No.
I mean, you don't want to close the door, right? Isn't that what we always say?
I would.
Don't close the door.
Yeah, I would never want to close the door, but yeah, I would.
It's that
I would
bad,
want
huh?
to close the door for him. If I were Tiffany, I would be done with him. As long as I thought I could get enough. Well, she didn't have him anyway.
Well, he said.
So.
Do you make him quit? How do you leverage him as a resource? Yeah, you can. You can make it unhospitable. He's already on the verge of quitting. So
that's still his choice. So, but I would of course never trust him again or anything he said. So I would do my best to get him out next. That's what I would do.
I would not share anything with him.
Okay.
I would feel compelled not to, but someone's going to reach out and rescue him. Venus is going to come to him and
please,
and get him as a vote.
Okay. I would like to make a point.
Okay, let's have it.
Hunter seemed very upset losing Tevin.
Yes.
There was an easy solution to that.
There was.
If he were really that upset.
And he had the information. If he had put the effort in.
He had the information. He had the idol. He could have stopped it had he chosen. I don't think that would be a very good solution for him.
No.
But he could have.
What a test, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he wasn't more involved. He's sitting there trying to figure out if he was going to
should I, shouldn't I, you know. But they could just vote him out next time, and he would have wasted his protection.
Right, right. So now he's still got an idol. Now he's the only one who has an idol that nobody knows about.
Yes.
From what we've been shown.
Yes.
Because the word's out on Tiffany's idol.
It is.
And there's an excellent chance that she'll be joining them on the jury soon because of that. That's going to scare them.
Well, maybe not next vote because she's got an idol, but if she plays it. But yeah, probably soon they'll target her because of it.
Well, they've already demonstrated they can keep it from her. She had no clue.
And most of them were ready to vote her out anyway until
Charlie told her in tribal council. She could have completely gone through this whole tribal council and not known. Had they stuck to that, they could have blindsided her.
Yeah, but
that's pretty scary.
It was pretty nuts. I will say it was very nutty, tribal council, but there have been others that I think
felt way crazier with the liveness and the switching.
Crazier and more exciting. This one had a slight element of annoyance.
Watching someone just play
martyr or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Again, the noble quit. There's no such thing in the Survivor.
And you didn't do it last time, and you didn't stick to it this time, and it was all just for naught. And so, But it was interesting. I heard him tell them, Liz, and I don't know who else was standing there, but that you didn't have the votes for Tevin. You didn't have them.
He said you didn't have it when he was talking to Tiffany and Kenzie. Q did.
No, he said it when Liz was standing there. It might have been.
Okay.
But they said you didn't have the votes for Tevin. But they got the votes for Tevin, so I don't know.
I guess I missed that.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
And watch it again. What, her third time? Okay, next time on Survivor, see Tiffany talking to Q. Well, I don't know if she's talking. She might be shouting. Why wouldn't you give me a heads up? And then I think there's some expletives in there too. So that would appear to be after this tribal council.
I would assume.
Night 16 when they return to camp. She's got an earful for Q.
Well, so okay, here's the thing that tells me. If she's talking to Q, she does not know that he's the one that initially said, gotta get her out. That he targeted her. She's just thinking he knew about it and he didn't give her a heads up.
It's almost the same thing.
No, it isn't. Not that he put the target on her.
Right.
Yes, Tevin said, she said this, blah, blah, but Q targeted her.
We see Tiffany in the confessional asking, are you stupid? Are you dumb?
Now, she might have found out by then. That's why, but I don't know.
We see Kenzie talking to Q and saying, I'm mad. And then in a confessional type voice, she declares that everyone's turning on everyone.
Maria, to Charlie, I need her gone.
Is that
Who's
Tiffany?
she talking about?
Tiffany?
I don't know. I would say so because she said her name.
Right.
And
She has an idol.
Yes, Charlie said this game's flipped on its head.
We see a picture of Venus talking to Hunter and Q, and then she's saying in a confessional, these bumbling buffoons, two dumb meatheads. So she's not impressed by whatever it was they shared with her.
Well, probably she was trying to get them to join with her, like you said.
Yeah, reach out.
She's going to reach out and get them on her side, but I don't think they're having any of it. That's why I said that she's not. That's what Tiffany meant. She's not dangerous anymore. Nobody wants to work with her. They don't pay her any attention. No matter what she says, it's just like, it's Venus.
But Q's essentially attained the same status as her at this point because of that goofed up tribal council move. Kenzie declares spicy, which is one of her go-to words.
And Q's going to give them hell, and they can cancel Christmas. Where did that come from again?
Nah, it's a phrase people use. So now it's tired because he's overused it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see in the confessional, Tevin says that he was indeed blindsided, but he took it all in stride. He had a good approach, and he just loved his experience and was so happy for the opportunity. For me, this one is bittersweet. I really wanted to see more from Tevin, so I'm sad to see him get wiped out like this. And it, coming from that purely emotional move by Liz.
Well, and it affects our USB.
Yeah.
Hunter.
I don't know if I was coming at it from that context, but
consciously.
I just really wanted to see more of Tevin when I saw how he interacted with Venus and that he checked himself and didn't give anything away. He let her take all that credit. He let her go on and give strategy pep talks, and he just let it all roll off his back. And I thought, that's beautiful. That's
and yet
textbook.
He blew it with Liz.
Well,
in my opinion,
not reading more of her.
Yep.
And by her own admission, she hadn't been doing anything. She hadn't been taking action.
And she shot
Nobody recognized her being a player at all in any significant way. She had no agency. She was
determined to show them, and that she did. So now she may become a target.
Yeah, she essentially leveraged the chaos that Q dumped on everyone in Tribal to achieve her goal.
She's like, I'm not changing my vote.
I think I would have been even more sad to see Tiffany get blindsided with an idol. So if it's got to be one of the two, I guess I'll take Tevin. But I'm going to miss out on seeing how he would have played through to the end game.
Okay, in my opinion, now the big targets are going to be, of course, Hunter, because he's winning. He kind of showed off with his win.
Yeah.
And none of them could do but seconds. Of course, I'm sure Q will tell us he got down. He could have done it. He could have beat him, but he didn't. I think there may still be a target on Tiffany because of her saying Maria's name. I think there could be more of a target on Q, of course, now. That people just don't want any more of that nonsense. Let's vote him out. And it's either his way or the highway. He is not a team player. He's not, forget it. Let's get him out.
Well, just that you can't, that kind of erratic approach to the game, you just don't want that.
I would grant his wish and send him home next time.
Yeah, yep.
But I still think there'll be a target on Maria as well.
Which means Liz gets a pass and Venus gets a pass. Yeah.
Yep.
Ben has gotten a pass. He's quickly fading into the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even Kenzie to a degree, so...
Yep.
And she seems to work well with Ben, which means Ben, Charlie, Marie, and Kenzie,
Yeah, Ben could bring her into that.
And bring Tiffany in as well. Hello. And you're looking at a majority because they're at 9 now. They only need the 5.
Tiffany's the big threat. Hopefully she'll get wind of it and play her idol and save herself, like you said, for another round.
Mm-hmm.
So then what, Liz or Venus? It would be just perfect karma to send Liz right after Tevin. Episode of Tevin and Liz that way.
I'm afraid
and
I
then
would
Venus to join.
I'm afraid I would go for Q. Just get him out.
Yeah.
For doing that. I don't want to play with you. I don't want to work with you. I don't want to I just don't want to. And,
it would be better strategically for you to be gone.
At some point, he admitted he threw a tantrum about the whole rice thing, and I thought, yeah, I don't do men throwing tantrums like a little kid. So it's like, I'm sorry, you're already on my last nerve. Goodbye.
How about a JSFL update?
I can do that. All right. Hatter is still in first place with 39 points.
Nice.
18 people lost their USB. 96 people lost a safe point. Me. Boo.
Not me, though.
No, you didn't. You thought, you always say, oh, no, I did too.
Well, I did have him
and you
safe,
don't.
I think.
So I'm like, okay, shut it. Okay, and 23 people earned a vote-off point. Good
Nice.
job.
Yeah, good job.
Side challengers with 35 points. Brandon is still in first place. With 34, Jeremiah and Robert. With 33, Drew, Lisa Ray, Rebecca, and Stacy.
Oh, Rebecca holding on.
With 32, Justin. 31, Parker. And in the basement is Chris with 30 points.
Running solo in the basement there, Chris.
That's right.
All right. Okay, do you have any predictions? Who's next to go? You said Q.
I told you, Q. I'm with Liz. I'm not varying from that, right? At least tonight. We'll see, but I don't know. I just want him out. Why would anyone want to work with him again? I don't get it.
Mess.
Now, Hunter might, because where's Hunter going now?
It would be great if the heat's on him and we get an immunity challenge to see if he can actually win it.
Q?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And that Hunter
like that.
wins it and takes it from him. And she goes home. That works for me.
That
would
could
be
work.
a nice episode.
Yeah, we need to clean up that. That's what
Though
a mess.
they are going to want to go after Tiffany because of the idol.
Yeah.
It's out there. You can't put that cat back in the bag. So
Not everybody knows.
Oh, sure they will. If they don't already, they will.
Probably, yeah. It won't take but a little bit. And since Q's already been willing to share, I guess Venus and Liz will know before too long.
Yep, that's once it's out like that.
Yeah. Hey, we're excited to hear what you thought about this episode. What do you think about Q's choice at Tribal Council? And we look forward to having you join us for the listener feedback show. The voicemail line 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can record your audio and send it in, or you can type it up in an email. We'll read it in on your behalf. That email address is joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturday. We ask that you keep it, whether it's written or audio, keep it in that 3-minute range so we can get everybody ready to go. The sooner you can send it in, the sooner I'll start prepping things. We'll get it ready for the show on Saturday. We love when they come in early, so we appreciate that. We've had folks doing really good at that this season, so we definitely appreciate that. Probably almost half or more before Saturday morning, so we don't get completely buried. So that's been working out great. We appreciate that. So how did your assessment of the Castaways change after this week's gameplay? Definitely some things to talk about there. And who impressed you the most? Who do you think's playing the best? And who is in jeopardy of being voted out next? Looking forward to hearing from you. Anything else?
Nope.
Have a good one.